Hi, I'm Matt Wilson, Senior Product Manager for the Defend stage, and this is the 12.9 kickoff video for the Threat Management Group. Go ahead and we'll share my screen here and see what we've got. So in 12.9, you'll see an old friend at the top there. If you've watched the last couple, maybe 3 of these videos, you'll see that we're still talking about the MVC for standalone vulnerability objects. Now, I want to say that this is not typical of what you would see for an MVC or a minimum viable change. This is a bit of a different situation. So the vulnerability management, or sorry, the standalone vulnerability objects is really a redoing and extension of the way that findings and vulnerabilities are handled today in the application. So this is part technical debt and part net new functionality, and it's a lot of architectural changes. Part of this means that as we've been going through this over the last several iterations, we've been uncovering more and new areas where we actually have to kind of update to this new model of working. Now, the net takeaway is this is going to unlock a lot of capabilities for us to sort of move faster and offer more powerful functionality around vulnerability management in the application that we can't do with the current model. So we need to make sure that we take our time, and it's kind of an all or nothing. Everything has to be done at once, and so all this work is sitting behind a feature flag that when we are able to tie up all the work and release it, we will have everything kind of all at once. So this includes the security dashboards as well as the security widget, the MR widget, and the vulnerabilities themselves. One of the biggest changes is that you will no longer see just a little modal pop-up of vulnerability information. These will actually be, so the kind of the first class portion of that is they are their own object type, similar to an issue or an epic, where you can actually link directly to them. They will have each one will have a unique URL. And so it is something that you're going to have a lot more flexibility in interacting with. I just want to point out, so part of the changes that have been going on, you'll see we have 26 related issues. The things in blue are things that we've already finished off. We have a few things that are in green that are still open, and a lot of these are being worked in this particular release or being tied off in, we're still at the very tail end of the 12.8 release. You'll also notice that we've had 26 merge requests. All but one of them have been already merged and accepted against this particular project. So this is a lot more work than you would normally see in a typical iteration, or what we would call an MVC, but we can't really do a half step on redoing the vulnerability management. It's kind of an all or nothing, and we think that the work is going to be worth it, and this is going to unlock a lot of interesting things for us going forward in the future. So that's why you've heard about this for some time, and we're still kind of talking about it coming in the next release. But we have highest confidence of all the other iterations that 12.9 is going to be where we're finally going to be able to tie this off and remove the feature flag for everybody. So let's go back to the planning board. The other direction item that we want to talk about is one that normally wouldn't get mentioned here, because so we tend to label things with deliverable, where we have a best faith commitment to delivering that work in that iteration. Stretch is more of a commitment to start that work, but not necessarily deliver it in the iteration. The reason that I want to mention this is, number one, it's something new and exciting that we're working on. And number two, I think it speaks to what a lot of the standalone vulnerability object work will unlock for us. So project level exportable security reports. Today, the security dashboards, particularly at the project level, give you a really good overview of any vulnerabilities found by our scanners, so SAST, DAST, dependency, inside the GitLab application. And this is a really helpful resource. But one of the pieces of feedback that we've had from a number of our users and our customers is that you need these reports given to people like maybe you're like an audit and compliance team. These are non-GitLab users, and they don't have access to the information inside the dashboards. The dashboards are also not necessarily in the format that is most conducive to something that, let's say, an auditor would look at. So in the spirit of really having an MVC, a minimum viable change, we're trying to make the sort of the lightest touch way to get this information out into a user-friendly format as possible. And so that's going to take the form of the CSV export. We're looking to export basic information. So this is not the complete information available to the scanner, but basically what scanner detected it, what is the vulnerability, any additional details, severity, and if there's a CVE present. So these are all going to be in a nice CSV report format that will be downloadable, say directly from the dashboard itself. Let's go ahead and open this up. So this is the project level security dashboard, pretty much what it exists as it exists today. But there's now this addition of a new download button here. So when you go to this the first time, we'll have a little bit of indication of, hey, this is something new. You can now go ahead and download a CSV report. And you'll get a nice little tooltip here. But so basically what this is going to do is it's going to export everything that appears in the project level security dashboard. So this is across all severity levels. Now, the user, of course, is going to be free to filter, you can sort, you can remove rows as you need, because this is just kind of the MVC. It is a preview of what our kind of long-term vision for reporting this kind of information is, which we would eventually like to see if you're applying any sort of filtering, let's say by severity type, then the report would only reflect the filters that you have applied in the UI. CSV, while it's a very handy format for getting the data out, may not be necessarily the most conducive for just turning directly over to somebody like an audit and compliance team. So we eventually want to take a step beyond this and go to something either in place of or in addition to like a PDF report. So something that's nicely formatted, that has the same kind of information, but looks more like an actual kind of an audit and compliance or a security report export. So again, this is a stretch goal. This is not something that we are committing to releasing in 12.9. It may very well make good progress or could even potentially be complete, but I just wanted to share this to show some of the other things that we're working on kind of as a fast follow to the first class vulnerability work, and give you an idea of where we hope to take some of this in the very near future with the threat management and the vulnerability management of the product. So thanks for watching, and we look forward to the 12.9 release.